everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I have a special guest and dear friend Sandra Saradesi. Sandra began her spiritual journey over 2 decades ago. She is a holistic healer with over 10 years of international experience. She is recognized as a gifted healer, spiritual coach, teacher, intuitive and yoga of Illumination instructor. In addition to holding the honorary title of Grand Master of the Miraculous Angelic healing of Bel-Vas-Pata. An accomplished speaker and corporate workshop facilitator with extensive experience hosting 4 weekly podcasts for over a period of 5 years. Sandra shares her consciousness elevating expertise with individuals, couples, workshop groups and corporate audiences. She has taught and led workshops and retreats in 4 languages throughout the US, Canada, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Holland, Denmark, Spain and Portugal. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, search for us in YouTube. We are also in Facebook at Conversas da Alma Canal and in Instagram at Conversas da Alma Oficial. And now let's hear our guests, our dear guests. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you so much, César. I am so happy to be here with you, having one more of these Conversas da Alma, conversations of the soul. We have been going through these conversations for a number of years and now this is an official one. So thank you for this great opportunity.
You're welcome. You're very welcome here. Sandra, how did you start your journey into spirituality?
Well, the spirituality is such a big topic, but starts with the self. I started at a very young age questioning myself about the mysteries of life, and at probably age 15, 16, I promised myself I would find out the mysteries of life.
Wonderful.
And
so?
One of my curiosities, or the topics that really attracted the most, was disease.
Disease?
Disease. How people and why people get sick. That was beyond me understanding that. Deep down, I knew that we are beings, perfect beings, and our essence is incorruptible. So for me, that was like people in hospitals and with all those things that I don't even want to mention because it's not worth mentioning. Illusion is what we allow to express. So I began very early questioning about my whereabouts. Where was I before? Because I thought to myself, people just don't show up. There must be a before. How you bring your body into this moment must have been another moment prior to this. And I was questioning this at age 3. I actually knew that that was not a normal kind of thinking process for my age group. I remember asking my mother, she till this day reminds me, I asked her, how do I know you're my mother? Because I couldn't relate to my surroundings and the people that were placed as my family members.
Was this a difficult journey for you? This getting into the spirituality and discover so many mysteries and so many angelic realms and other realms that I really know other beings, beings of light. How was it for you?
You know, I remember being in university, so the topic that was more available when I was growing up, more available, but it's still not available, was the topic about reincarnation. And when I first read a novel about reincarnation, I was age 10, and I finally felt at home. I felt like, this is what I've been talking about. This is exactly it. So they started a couple of films coming, and then when I was in university, I was studying in Mexico, and I had to present a speech in the auditorium. And I knew that I had to turn into my passion to make a successful speech. So I talked about life after life, not life after death. I named my speech Life After Life, and it was all about where we are and where we're going, and how this journey is not just a flat line in this 3D reality, that there's much more than what meets the eye. So that's like sort of how it started to unravel for me. And then I moved to Canada, and I found this organization. It was called the Learning Annex, and they were in New York, San Francisco, no, LA, and Toronto. And they were bringing all the biggest spiritual speakers. Everybody that you find in the bookstores were coming, and I decided, I started to taking some seminars with them, and to the point that one time they had catalogs, so I checked every page on that catalog and I'm like, okay, it's time to do something here. So I decided to become a volunteer with the organization, and I involved myself, and I can tell you almost everybody that is like a great author right now. And little I knew that this was going to be my path. I was not looking, I was just there because it made my heart sing. My soul was full, and that's all that mattered to me. And I met all the big names, including the teacher Almin, which is all the...
One of your inspirations.
My greatest inspiration, and all these miraculous healings that you mentioned earlier originate from her. And Bel-Vas-Pata means healing of the heart. Bel-Vas-Pata is an angelic language, and it means healing of the heart, which is really what we're here to do. But the heart cannot be healed until it's open. And you know how the heart opens?
How?
When the mind is silenced.
We all have to do a lot of silence so we can open our hearts.
Yes, those claiming that they have their heart open, and it's almost impossible to have the heart open because we must go into the Zen line.
Zero line mind.
Yes.
And what about, talking about the heart, what is spirituality for you, for your heart? What is...
Oh, it is,
what does it mean?
Spirituality it's another topic that is very complex, but I'm going to make it simple. Spirituality is you, who you truly are, who your essence is. And we spend our time, our lifetimes, not one, many lifetimes, going around and around looking for a spirituality when it's within. We are looking outside to find what is really inside. And spirituality is when we find our true essence. That's when we become spiritual. When we are home for ourselves.
When we feel complete and connected.
When we feel complete, we're whole, we're fulfilled, and everything else, any other experience or the environment becomes an icing on the cake. It is not the cake.
The analogy.
It is not the cake. You are the cake. I am my own cake. And when we start living from that place of
and we taste
fullness,
the cakes of everyone, you know.
Yes.
And that's good.
And it's good
that's
because
wonderful.
you know why? Because you get to experience yourself through others.
Yes.
And it's like this. Why I enjoy your company, because I can experience myself through you. You are like a clear vehicle for me to experience myself. So this is what our relationships are supposed to be: support, enhance, bring us joy and easiness, and together we are not depending on each other. So there's something I really like that Almin has said is like, may our giving come from fullness, not from neediness.
Fantastic. And that's it.
That's it.
Very simple.
Yes, it's a very simple plan.
And how and when did you start your journey into this fantastic angelic realm?
Well, it was actually, I knew in my heart, since I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a doctor. So translate that into a more sort of cutting edge or outside the box. Is what I'm doing is assisting others to find their essence and freeing others and showing them that there is a higher way of being, there's a higher way of living, and there is this place called freedom where you can be yourself and depend on nobody. So how did I start? Was again, I feel that this place that I was mentioning, that we're bringing all this, the authors on, I was there like almost every day.
Major authors, yeah.
Yeah, and so
well known all over the world.
yes, workshops and daily and the evenings. So I had the opportunity of experiencing and tasting, and all of them brought me closer and closer to myself, to the point that, oh, I can recognize when my heart is in expansion and when it's in contraction. Well, that means that expansion is when we're in joy, and in contraction is when we're in the pain or the suffering. And I met Almin through them. She was one of the guests that came one time. And then shortly after, she had a workshop, and I joined, and at that workshop, that's when she started to talk about the pure emotions, the pure emotions of Bel-Vas-Pata, the elevated emotions, and it was such a language, so natural to my soul. It was almost like second nature to me, what she's talking about. And then the angelic writing, and how the angelic writing conveys the vibration, the frequency, and it also has the component of energy and light. So it actually brings together the masculine and the feminine through the angelic writing, and then those sigils or a specific writing are how they come into the body.
Sorry to stop you.
Yes.
Explain the people, because some people don't know what is the sigil.
A sigil, the word is S-I-G-I-L, and the sigil is beyond a symbol because it has the power. It's like a key that opens the certain parts of the body or bodies or chakras or emotions to release what is not real and expose and reveal the perfection of your being.
Actually open portals also.
Also open portals, well said.
Of other dimensions, with
yes.
other dimensions.
Yes, and then we
we
become like, we have more access to interdimensional experiences. And then we understand that we're not just in one dimension. We can be in multiple dimensions at once, and we have a choice of how we handle our energy and our frequency. So it's been a delight to work with the angels because it's effortless and full of grace. The change is immediate and full of grace. And as you know, I'm here in Portugal because of you and Rui, that you came, as I said, you came to fetch me on a Caribbean cruise with Almin. They did.
Bahamas,
yes, we were in the Bahamas, and I don't even know all these islands, like Saint Martin. We almost lost our wigs at the beach. But anyway, so I came to Portugal, and it was, wow, like a whole portal as Portugal is.
That opened for you.
That opened for me.
So now tell us about your exhibition here in Lisbon, in Portugal.
Such a delight.
Tell us about that.
Well, you know, Cesar, I have been painting since 2002 on my own. I did 2 classes. Well, one thing, it was revealed to me that I had a gift for colors, and I didn't even have to work for it. It was just like the paintings that I was doing in 2002 back in Canada. They were coming out like really aesthetically exquisite. And then I was doing some exercises at home, but nothing too serious. And when I came to Portugal as a visitor in 2014, and I felt it was my next step to be here to experience like you and your friends and the culture, and so I felt like I have always lived here. This is how I felt. I felt in here.
Maybe in a past life, we never know.
We never know. And so I decided to stay longer. And I started to hear in my heart that I should paint the pure emotions of the angels. And I was like, oh, really? I have no idea how one can paint love and trust. For example, that's the pair of emotions that is in the center of the 12. And then we have like inspiration and peace, creativity and pleasure. And I don't think you even know this, but so anyway, had these promptings in my heart that I needed to do this, and I started to ask around for a teacher, for a suitable teacher that could understand my spirituality, trying to be coming to life into a canvas, into oil and canvas together. So in
this case, a teacher, a painter.
Yes, a painter indeed. And I found such a magical being, and that he, like on the second time that we met, we went to buy the materials for me to start painting. And I remember what he said to the clerk at the store, at the art store. He says like this girl over here opened doors where there weren't even doors. And I said, he's definitely my teacher. So I felt like he really got what I'm doing.
Your essence.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, I want to say this because at one point we had some friends that we gathered and we went to Serra da Estrela, to the highest point in Portugal. And I was about to, the next week I had to paint creativity and pleasure. And I was just, what am I going to paint here? And I remember looking up to the sky in that place, and I saw this starry night, as Van Gogh would say.
Yeah, Van Gogh was inspired by those images too.
Yes, and I said, oh, this is creativity and pleasure. I am having so much pleasure looking at this. So then that was it. That was my inspiration. Yes, I don't think you knew that.
No, I didn't. Yes? You didn't tell me that before.
So it was like so incredible. And then when he came into the canvas, it's actually the sky and the ocean meeting. It was like incredible. And every painting is like somebody else painted it, because the palette is different, the different colors and different textures and different images, and some are abstract, some are like, oh, this is like a Picasso. I get one that a lot of people say is like a Picasso, and other ones is like, whoa, I painted birds. I never even like knew how to sketch a bird, and it's like I was calling in the angels and calling the frequencies and the vibrations and pulsing in my heart as I was painting each canvas. And each painting in the back has the angelic writing, which is the sigil. So there are not only paintings, but they convey the frequency and the vibration. There was one lady actually that she came, she knew nothing about what I was painting, and she came as like the aunt of my teacher, and she stood in front of the painting and she says, wow, she says, I can feel something from that painting. So she's not as spiritual, she didn't even know what I'm doing. She made a comment. Yes,
the impact of the vibration of your paintings.
Yes. So, you know, with a full heart, every painting was created.
And how are the paintings relevant to the healing of the heart?
Well,
can you explain that?
You know, it is like the core of the healing of the heart of Bel-Vas-Pata. The 12 pairs of pure emotions encompass, holds, it's like the 4 pillars of the house, of the mansion, of all these incredible many protocols that follow, but is the emotions that are really truly the essence of and is a vertical it's a magnetic horizontal axis we were just talking earlier before, which is a feminine. Emotions are feminine. So we have, these are the emotions that are with movement, and then later on we receive the emotions of recognition, which are a little bit more advanced per se, because they're like the Bel-Vas-Pata for the gods. It's called for the gods because is in a stillness. These emotions are experienced in a stillness. So that could be for next
stage.
Yes. It's called
painting.
Brahmish Ananu, which is one of my favorites. It's like that Bel-Vas-Pata when individuation or when separation from source didn't even exist, and then it was just the gods. Actually, it was just the first years. The gods that live on earth, on the Garden of Eden, were experiencing this timelessness, spacelessness, all these emotions of knowingness. But there is an emotion implies there is a movement, there is a ripple. It's like a wave. But this is more like in a fullness experiencing it.
And could you tell us a bit more about the elevated emotions so people can understand what this means? Elevated emotions.
You know, we have a protocol for clearing the 48 negative emotions with Egyptian oils and acupressure technique. So, and when I tell people 48 negative emotions, they get like surprised, they get a little defensive. What do you mean I have 48 negative emotions? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? And then when I start telling them, they're like, yes, yes, yes. And I say, well, lucky if you don't have one. Well, this is if you're starting your journey, of course. This is not for everybody. But if you're at the beginning of your journey and there is nothing to try to justify why you have this, it is what it is. And the first step to change is recognition, acknowledgement, and acceptance. That's the only way to change. So that's all you have to do, actually. You don't have to do anything else. So then, once we clear that, yes, we have the pure emotions. And these pure emotions...
It seems simple, but then you need to work on it.
Yes. Well, you know, the situation at hand is that everything has become so automatic that anything that requires an effort is not interesting for humanity. Hence,
usually, yeah.
Hence, this is what I receive in my heart. Why these paintings will come in as a very instrumental aid to raise consciousness without much effort. So the elevated emotions are truly emotions that will elevate your consciousness. Imagine if we live on love and trust. Trust is the new emotion that replaced fear. Fear is in the old cycle. So people used to love, but with fear. Now, this doesn't work anymore. We must trust. Love and trust. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have trust without loving, and without love without trusting. It doesn't go anywhere. And then the other layer about the emotions is that they have an expression in the physical when the emotions are not lived, or if you're only living one or the other. Then, for example, inspiration and peace is such a beautiful as well, and it's very common. I remember a friend of mine that worked in the department store where they sell all the products for babies in Canada, and she says to me, all products for eczema are sold out. And I said, wow, that is the emotion that works with inspiration and peace. If you have inspiration and peace, there is no issues with the skin. But all these babies are born from anxious mother, from depressed, from all these dysfunctional emotions. And then the babies have no peace. They cannot even sleep at night. So, of course, then they have to medicate their skin instead of going to the root of it. So how, when we're not living a note or an expression, this is what happens, then the body will express it. And this is how disease is the language of spirit prompting change. So calling for a change.
Wonderful. That's good. That's good, really.
Did I answer your
Yeah,
question?
it's very clear. For me, it's very clear. Is it clear for you? I think so.
Yes.
Why did you choose Lisbon? Now that we only have 5 minutes to
Yes,
finish our interview.
wrap it.
So, why did you choose Lisbon?
Well,
Above all?
actually, oh my God, I'm feeling the other way around. I feel Lisbon chose me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, yeah.
Yes, you know, I was teaching a kid on the Sri Sattva yoga, the yoga to clear past incarnations, and they were loving it so much. They said, Sandra, can you come and teach us every week this yoga? They didn't realize I was coming from Canada. And Rui says, but Sandra doesn't live here. And I said, it came out of my mouth without thinking, which is usually my case. It's usually my case.
She's very spontaneous, that's why.
And said, that can be arranged. And then, you know, I just realized last week that probably had to do with some karma, because talking about karma, come and teach us the yoga to clear karma. And I said, that was like a super prompting that can be arranged. And then I did arrange it.
And that's why you are here again.
Yes,
and
I'm
again
here
and again and again.
Yes.
Many times.
Many times.
She's wonderful.
Many times. And you know, the fawn from the painting is a fawn that actually spoke to me in the forest in Sintra, and is so in my heart that had to come through life in the invite for the Elevated Emotions exhibition.
So where is your exhibition is going to be held?
Okay, it's in this street that you have to be Portuguese to say it properly, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Rua dos Cavalheiros.
Rua dos Cavaleiros.
No.
Cavaleiros?
No. Bacalhoeiros.
Ah, Rua dos Bacalhoeiros.
Eso. Número 14.
Número 14.
ABC.
ABC. Onde?
Campo das Cebolas.
Campo das Cebolas.
Lisboa.
E vai ser em Lisboa no dia 17 de dezembro, ou seja, na próxima terça-feira.
Às 7. Às 19 horas.
Às 19 horas.
Isso.
Nessa galeria.
Exatamente, vamos estar lá a celebrar. Estou a falar português.
Sim, vamos lá estar
vamos estar a celebrar as emoções.
A vida e as emoções.
A vida, as emoções elevadas, the elevated emotions that are here to stay in this new cycle. And I really felt that what a better way to welcome 2020 than with elevated emotions. So you're all welcome to join us.
Fantastic. Do you have any last words
Well,
to finish our interview?
So, the quickest
With the angels, with the presence of the angels.
Thank you, César. So, the quickest way to evolve your soul, the shortcut, I'm all into shortcut, is through emotions and feelings. Not through your head, but through your heart.
Thank you, Sandra, so much for your words, for your experience in the fantastic angelic realm, and also for bringing us to Portugal these amazing pictures, not pictures, paintings. These amazing paintings that we are going to be, for sure, be amazed and surprised.
You know, I painted them here, and I was going to bring them to Canada to do the exhibit, and it didn't make any sense. They belong here. They were born here, and they belong here.
That's why we have a lot of angels in Portugal.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes. I just got chills in my body. So thank you so much for being such a beautiful people and country that you share with me. I really feel gifted and privileged and honored. I really love Portugal.
A last message for the Portuguese. An advice.
Live in your hearts.
Fantastic, Sandra. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. Hope to see you next week, and have a wonderful week and be happy.
Very happy.